Blizzard always seems to be getting themselves into giant controversies. Just when talk about Blizzard starts to quiet down, there's something massive that drops about the workplace, CEOs, or the games they're creating. And to no one's surprise, there's new bombshell accusations being levied against Bobby Kotick and Blizzard in general, because reportedly, Kotick knew about the harassment allegations they've been sued over for years, and Jen O'Neill, who was appointed to the co-head once J. Allen Brack left, said that she was tokenized by the company. But before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or supporting via memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So I'm going to start off with this IGN article. It says, Activision Blizzard scandal. Bobby Kotick reportedly knew about allegations for years. Workers announce walkout. Of course, ever since the Wall Street Journal article talking about this was put up, it has been trending on social media. There are so many people calling for Bobby Kotick's resignation, but it says a new report claims that Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick knew about the assault and harassment allegations within the company-owned studios, but did not disclose the information to the company's board. So the same report states that Jen O'Neill, who was recently made co-head of the company before announcing her departure just 3 months later, had previously experienced harassment at the company, was paid less than her male counterpart Mike Ybarra, and has said she was tokenized by the company. Now, these are some massive allegations being made against Bobby Kotick and also Blizzard in general, but Jen O'Neill was named in the original article, but all of the other claims that Kotick knew about the harassment at the company seem to come from anonymous sources, so of course take it all with a grain of salt because they're just accusations. But at this point, it's so hard to give Blizzard the benefit of the doubt that I keep starting off believing rumors about them instead of assuming they're false, which definitely isn't a great thing. But there's so many accusations constantly being levied against them that some of them have to be true. But it says a new Wall Street Journal report continues the long-running scandal within Activision Blizzard, which came to light when the state of California filed a lawsuit against the company. I did talk about this in a previous video. I've actually talked about this situation a couple of times now because they've been sued multiple times. But it says the report centers on Kotick and says that internal documents and sources familiar with the company show that the CEO was aware of many of the reported abuses within the company, including accusations of rape that were emailed directly to Kotick, but did not inform the board of everything he knew. Now, obviously, if this is true, this is an absolutely disgusting situation, and it's terrible, and he does need to answer for it because it's his job to tell the board everything. But of course, it sounds like he didn't want to tell the board everything because he knew they'd be upset, he knew they'd be furious, and of course, he'd get in trouble for it. It just kind of sounds like he wanted to sweep everything under the rug, which obviously should never happen, especially with accusations as serious as these ones. But it says an Activision spokesperson told the Wall Street Journal that Mr. Kotick would not have been informed of every report of misconduct at every Activision Blizzard company, nor would he reasonably be expected to have been updated on all personnel issues. Now, if there's an issue going on at the company as widespread as this one, as the lawsuits say, obviously he'd know about a lot of these issues. He'd know about a lot of the situations that occurred at the company. But of course the spokesperson is basically saying, oh, he wouldn't know every instance of misconduct. You know, you can't expect him to know everything that goes on at Activision Blizzard, which is total and complete bullshit. But it says Kotick himself told the Wall Street Journal that he and the board now expect to be kept better informed than in the past about workplace issues, and that examples raised in its reporting are exceptions to the company's normal behavior. Now, scrolling down, it says the report also includes a number of new accusations against current and former employees. Dan Bunting, co-head of Treyarch, is alleged to have harassed a female employee in 2017, but despite HR recommendations that he be fired, was kept on after counseling because of his contribution to the Call of Duty series, and he has reportedly left Treyarch after the Wall Street Journal asked to discuss the alleged incident, which is just the icing on the cake because that all but confirms that these accusations, at least against him, are true. And then it makes you think, okay, well, if the accusations against him are true, maybe the other accusations are true. And it just kind of confirms everyone's worries. There are no official announcements that he has left Treyarch, but it's being reported that he has. Scrolling down, there are many more accusations. It says a Sledgehammer Games supervisor was reportedly accused of rape by a female employee, as well as harassment of a second woman. These are absolutely disgusting things being said. Obviously, these are things that should not be happening at a gaming company or any company in general. It's definitely not something that's super easy to talk about, but it says that another Sledgehammer employee was also accused of harassment. He was given 2 weeks of paid leave and moved position within Activision before being let go from the company after a separate incident in which he argued with a manager. Seems pretty interesting that he didn't get fired over sexual harassment, but he got fired after simply arguing with a manager. And then the next one talks about Jen O'Neill, and I have a separate article that I actually want to read about this situation. So it says, amid yesterday's explosive allegations, additional reports emerged that former Blizzard co-lead Jennifer O'Neill wanted to resign in part due to issues that included being paid less than her male counterpart, Mike Ybarra. He has now told Blizzard employees he and O'Neill asked for pay parity together, but O'Neill says that she was offered an equal contract only after resigning from the role. Yesterday, Ybarra responded to allegations in internal messages separately confirmed by multiple Blizzard employees. So yes, while it was unconfirmed, it's basically confirmed at this point that this is all real because Blizzard employees are confirming it. It says yesterday, Ybarra responded to allegations in internal messages separately confirmed by multiple Blizzard employees, and the messages and screenshots of which were viewed by IGN were posted in a public Slack channel and directed to Blizzard employees. So basically, this is all damage control. Mike Ybarra is making statements to Blizzard employees saying, oh, I'm such a good guy, basically. It says, hello, Blizzard. Please see the email I sent this morning. I know many leaders plan to meet with their teams throughout the day. This is a difficult time for us all, myself included. I have been asked and want to make it clear. Jen and I shared with management that we wanted to be paid the same to co-lead Blizzard together, he wrote. As a leader, equality in its broadest sense is something I 100% stand behind, and as a team, I share our desire for change and growth. I'm committed to fostering that with all of you to make Blizzard what we want it to be. I will be sending out a video shortly to all of Blizzard. Thank you, and know that I'm processing today's news and struggling in areas like many of you. Now, scrolling down, Mike Ybarra actually added a lot more context to the situation. It says, when another employee expressed confusion as to why leadership would reject the request from Blizzard's two co-leads, Ybarra added additional context to his comments. Jen and I were both on existing contracts initially. I ran Battle.net and online products, and she ran Vicarious Vision, so our pay was different. The first time both Jen and I were offered a new contract, it was the same across both of us for the new co-leader of Blizzard roles, so our compensation was going to be the same. Now, obviously, this is a giant question a lot of people had. Were they expected to do the same work? And if so, why weren't they being paid the same? But he came out and said we were both offered the same contracts initially. We wanted the same pay, and we were told we were going to get it, and unfortunately, that didn't happen. It says Ybarra's response appears to be an attempt to explain part of the Wall Street Journal's earlier report, in which O'Neill was said to have sent a letter to Blizzard's legal division a month after taking the role, alleging that she was paid less than Ybarra while being tokenized, marginalized, and discriminated against. And she continued, while the company informed me before I tendered my resignation that they were working on a new proposal, we were made equivalent offers only after I tendered that resignation. And it finishes off with saying O'Neill tendered her resignation earlier this month, shocking many employees who regarded her as a positive force within the company. Now, they appointed her as a co-head to look like they were making progress, and they actually cared about women at the company, and we all knew that it was a cover. There's no way that quickly they'd 180 the way the company culture was, and simply hiring a woman for a job doesn't change that. It looked like they were making progress, even if they weren't, and that's all they really wanted. I mean, let's be honest. They want people to get off their backs and just act like everything's okay, stop talking about lawsuits, and keep consuming products. They want people to stop talking about the accusations being levied against them and all of the lawsuits, and they just want people to swipe their credit cards for their games. And at the end of the day, Jen O'Neill didn't want to deal with Blizzard, and that's a giant problem as well because they hired her and she quit after only 3 months of being with the company. That looks terrible for them. Now, obviously, Blizzard's a giant company in the gaming industry, and that's not just going to change overnight, but how much more can they take? Call of Duty Vanguard reportedly hasn't done as good as they thought. Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2 have been delayed. Immortal is a joke, so that's probably going to flop. The new World of Warcraft expansion hasn't brought players back, and active users really dislike it. Overwatch will only stay relevant until Overwatch 2 releases. Heroes of the Storm was a failure, and Hearthstone's player numbers have been declining. I used to love Blizzard, and I don't want them to fail. I just want them to be better. But they've had so many failures over the years that it raises the question of how much more can they deal with. I wish Blizzard would go back to the company they once were, but unfortunately, I just don't see that happening. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed this video and found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.